Good morning and welcome to Sewing Street this morning. A lovely Monday. The sun's come out. Isn't it a wonderful day? Lovely to have you. If you haven't joined us before, you can follow us on our website on www.sewingstreet.com. You can call our UK-based call centre if you prefer, 0800 001 4433. And we're just so excited to be here, and I have got the most fantastic projects to share with you today. As some of you know, I've only just joined Sewing Street. This is my 10th show. I've made double digits, definitely a lot better than I was on the first couple of shows. And thank you all for your kind feedback on Facebook and on Instagram. It's been very kind to get that. If you'd like to follow us on Facebook, you can get us on facebook.com/sewingstreettv, and on Instagram I think it's just @sewingstreet. And every single day our videos are fed live on YouTube, and our YouTube channel is Sewing Street. So if you go onto YouTube, you'll be able to put that into your search box, and if you click on subscribe, you'll be able to get every video that we have, whether it be myself or Debbie or the wonderful Vicky. Everything that's on the channel is reviewed every single day. And on our website, we've got a lovely new pad, which I'm still figuring out how to open. Forgive me. Oh, there we go. Apparently, I'm the only one brave enough to use this on air, but it's a really cute thing, and I think we need to do it. So if anybody hasn't followed the website before, you can click in the little bar at the top here where you type in, there you put in sewingstreet.com, and then you'll be able to see, oh look, it's me! You'll be able to, if you click then on this page, you'll see whatever is live at the time, and then it will just be, if we're not live, it'll have other varying videos on it as you go. And as you scroll down, you've got all the amazing products that we've got on today's show. Usually the last few shows is at the top, and we can see we've got this amazing ruler on our show today, along with all these other wonderful products here. And if you just keep scrolling through and scrolling through, you'll be able to see everything we've got. And I think we've got just over 10 pages of absolute loveliness and all the amazing products that we've had, not only on this show, but all the shows along the way. If you have any questions, because this is a new pattern, it only came off the quilt machine at 2:30 this morning, so it is a very new pattern. If you have any questions, it's my pattern, so if you have any questions, please drop us a line on the Sewing Street TV Facebook page, and we'll be able to then answer that question while I'm in the studio. It's always best to try that. If you do have any questions, pop it on there after the show as well. We're live today from 9 till 11. We're doing the first hour on the quilt and the quilt demonstrations, and then the second hour is even more exciting because we've got lots of new products and things which I'll be able to show you, and there are some really cute little things in there as well, which I certainly have had myself, and hopefully you'll be able to add to your little collection. So before we start, I'm going to destroy the set, and I'm going to show you what we're making, and hopefully not pull a bookcase down in the interim. So many of you know from my very first show, I absolutely detest curves. I hate them. I think they are awful. I've never been able to do them. And then the amazing people at the Creative Gribs and Stripology they make this oval ruler, which I absolutely had no idea existed, and it's called the Ovals Always. And each one, I've used these to make full ovals. Whoops, live telly, what could possibly go wrong? And what I've done is I've tried to make to show you how the different slots work. And you can see these beautiful colours. These come in a lovely bundle with the pattern and enough fabric for the backing, as well as the binding. And now I'm going to try and put this back on here without destroying anything. Oh, is this going to stay? I think we're there. Woohoo! Can you see that all right? Perfect. So the quilt size, because many of you want to know the quilt size, it's 65 by 76 inches, so 65 across by 76. And with the fabric that you get in the kit, I have it here somewhere, you have enough for the binding. To bind the whole quilt, you've got enough for the front, and you've got that much left over. So I have definitely, now you can tell, Sylvia is unfortunately at home at the moment, so this is the binding for Sylvia for when she finishes this quilt. You've got something to look forward to when you come back, my love. And then this is what we've called the cool colours, and I've got it sideways, bear with. And you see, I love a small quilt. You see, just something small that I knocked up. It's sort of a cot-sized quilt, isn't it? So you can see this is what we've called the cool collection because the colours are very, very cool, whereas the colours over there we've called the warm collection because the colours are really warm. But I have to say this is a really, really good pack that we've done here because what I want to do is not many people use... Oh, while we're doing that, so if whatever bundle you use, this is how much fabric you've got left once you've made the quilt. So you have that much left of each of the 6 colours. So you can see that it's not, you're not going to be using all the fabric. You're going to have a lot left over of each project, of each colour. And they're a really beautiful collection of colours. And they all just blend beautifully together. Because I think as well, whenever you buy a kit, especially if you're a beginner, you want to make sure that you've got enough fabric because we all make mistakes. And now my demo today, I've cut the squares out of this. So you will have a larger piece than that because you won't have a demo coming out of it. So again, I think it's roughly a fat quarter of each one. But this is the different colours. So the first colours I showed you were for the cool collection, and I'll just briefly run through these, and you can see this is for the warm collection here. And it's just an amazing bundle. So shall we start with the cool bundle? So this is the cool bundle. So you're going to get 1/2 metre of each of these colours. So I'm going to show you what these are. So you're going to get 1/2 metre of each of these colours. And you, oh wow, is that the price? Gosh, I didn't know what the price was until now. So you're getting the Cool Quilt kit for the fabric. This is 7 metres of fabric for £50. Now anybody who can do math knows that that is a very good price per metre for your fabric. So you're getting 1/2 metre of the purple. And I'm not folding this correctly to get it back in. Getting 1/2 metre of the emerald. I'll just unfold these two and then just show you the colours individually. Mainly because I can't fold them back the way they come unfolded. There we go. They're in thirds. That's where I'm going wrong. So you've got this gorgeous emerald. And they've got this lovely lavender colour as well. And then we've got this beautiful pale blue. So you're getting 1/2 metre of each of these different colours. And then you've got this gorgeous royal, is this a royal blue? I don't know what we'd call that. But it's just such a lovely, traditionally beautifully used blue. And it's one of my favourite colours. And then this really soft minty green. So these are 6 different colours. Pretend they're folded nice and neatly for you. There we go. And you can see all the different colourways then all together. Again, pretend they're folded nice and neatly. So this is 3 metres of 6 1/2 metres of the colours. So that's 3 metres in there. And then you've got 4 metres of the ivory. And it's 4 metres, usual 43-inch width. And this is for your background. And what you're going to do with this, the way I did it is I first cut my binding strips out. So I cut 8 binding strips out, because then you know you've got 2 for each side. You've definitely got enough binding. And then I cut the balance in half. So that's why it worked out to 65 by 76 inches. So we've also got these amazing instructions. Well, I hope they're amazing. Lots of pictures, which I like, and lots of instructions on how to make the pattern and how to use the ruler. And if you haven't used Bondaweb as well, it just gives you a little bit of a tip on the Bondaweb and how to get it all off and how you lay it all out. So this is a pattern as well. Is this included in the kit? So this is included in the kit as well. So if you did want to make this pattern, you'd need that. And then, so that's the Cool collection there. So that's $49.99 for that bundle. 7 metres of fabric, including the instructions. So really, really good value on that. And now we've got the bright bundle, or warm bundle, whichever way you want to call it. And again, you've got the 1/2 metres of each of these beautiful colours. So we're starting here with a lovely, I'm going to start on this side here, beautiful bright orange. We've got a nice red, a lovely pink, got a lovely yellow, nice magenta, and then a really soft butter pink over here. Butter pink, butter yellow. Gosh, I haven't got my teeth in this morning. And again, so that's 3 meters of 6.5 meters, giving you 3 meters of the colors, and we've got 4 meters of the background as well. So that's a really, really good fabric deal, but you also get then pretty much the fabric, the instructions for free. So I think that's a really nice way of doing it. Now what you will need though to do this is this really amazing ovals always ruler from Strapology. A couple of weeks ago, well, it might be a week ago, we had the Strapology ruler, which is the straight line ruler, and anybody who's ever used a Strapology ruler falls head over heels in love with it because they are so good. But now they've done it with curves. So when I saw this, and it was in the office, and Hayley suggested, John, do a curved quilt, and I was like, no, no, no. I'm absolutely converted in every single way. And the fact that you can use the Bondaweb to stick everything down and just do the the zigzagging or the blanket stitch all the way around, it just completely changes absolutely everything on this project. But the good thing with this is you've got the ruler, but you've also got this incredible set of instructions. And I think every single Creative Grid Strapology ruler comes with these instructions. So you can see here we've got the full oval, the quarter oval, and the half oval, either on the horizontally or vertically. I'm never sure which one's which. But I've used that one in this one, and I've used that one. But I've also adapted it a little bit to give you a little stripe of it. And then on the inside, you've not only got these three, you've got a huge amount of instructions on how to use the ruler and all the different projects you can do with it. And it's even on the back as well. You've got more projects on it. So I'm going to show you how I did this. I may leave the Bondaweb step out, but if anybody has used Bondaweb before, you'll know what we're going to do. But otherwise, what I'm going to do, I'm going to use, this is on the show at 10 o'clock, but it is a really fabulous ironing mat. For anybody who does crochet or does knitting as well, this is what you can use to actually block your squares as well. So you'd put your knitting on it, pin it onto the board because you've got this lovely foamy bit, and then because you can then pin the fabric, the knitting on like that, and then you can blast steam on it with your iron, and it will just be nice and flat when you finished it. So this is a really lovely little ironing board, and it's got a lovely little handle that you can take it with you to classes or wherever you're going. So nice, nice, nice gift that we've got, not gift, nice little project piece to add to your collection. So anybody who hasn't used Bondaweb before, I'm just going to do a few little bits here. I've cut the Bondaweb into little squares, just to give you an example of what we're doing. And with the Bondaweb, when you feel it, you'll feel one side is a bit rough and the other side is really soft and silky. And the reason it's soft and silky is there's a little bit of parchment here that you'll tear off once you've pressed it on. So I'm now going to push the iron in and bring the iron here, health and safety and all that. So one thing I've learned on this project, always press your fabric first before you start add the Bondaweb to it, because if you've got any bumps or anything on your fabric, it's just going to stay there and be highlighted on the Bondaweb. So you just want to make sure that you get out any little creases or bits and bobs in there. Let's get it nice and flat. So this square isn't for the quilt. This is just simply for me to give you an example of how to use Bondaweb and how to do it. And because you'll see in the pattern, I've used Bondaweb, but to save us using huge amounts of Bondaweb and doing it quite through the machine in a demo, which could potentially go wrong, I thought I'd give you a nice simple demo here. So again, I said that we've got a rough side for Bondaweb and we've got a soft side or a silky side. You want silky side up, rough side down, because the rough side down is the gluey bit. And I always try and cut my Bondaweb a tiny little bit shorter than the fabric, because then you are in no risk of the glue getting onto your ironing board, etc. If anybody hasn't bought Bondaweb before, we have got it coming onto the website, but we've had, obviously, with what's going on in the universe at the moment, slight delay on deliveries. So just keep watching the website and it'll come through. So all I'm doing now is I'm holding a hot iron onto the fabric with the Bondaweb for about 5-10 seconds, and you'll know whether it's enough time because the paper will sort of curl up if it hasn't completely stuck down. And then once I've done that, I just give it a nice extra couple of rubs along the way. And now you have the Bondaweb on the back of the fabric. And it's just, the only reason I've shown you this is because now what we're going to do, I'm going to put this down here and hopefully not set fire to the set. And prefer not to, no. We have enough going on in our world now. So what have I done with my ruler? There's my ruler. So now with you've got the Bondaweb on the back and on the front. So it doesn't matter which way up you put this, just put it on your ruler here. So with the ruler, the way that it shows you is that it gives you the radius in inches, and you're going to start usually where it says A, and you're going to put most of your fabric on the line there, on the A line. But obviously that gives you a 3-inch piece. But maybe you don't want a 3-inch piece, or like me, your fabric is ever so slightly short for the 3-inch piece. All you do is you slide it up to the B line. So you line your fabric up to the dark line over here and the dark line over there, and you can see if we're cutting a 3-inch piece here, your fabric now completely fits in that curve. So that's what we're going to do now. And again, we've got the Bondaweb on the back. So for this quilt, what I did was I put the Bondaweb on the back of every single piece of fabric, simply because I'm terrified of curves and I wanted a nice, quick, easy way of getting the Bondaweb on, getting the fabric on, and just making sure that it was secure. And then I could go around and do my zigzags and do things like that. If you're a more confident sewer and you don't need Bondaweb, brilliant. You don't even need to do the step with the Bondaweb. You just cut them out with this and you can put them straight on the quilt, zigzag around as you like. This was my first experience with curves, so I wanted all the safety and security that I could possibly get. So that's why I thought Bondaweb is. I think a lot of people are very scared of curves. Well, I know I am. It's that, you know, when you're sewing along and you've got the bias, and when you sew it, what looked like, well, a nice little curve, when you finish with it, it looks like a sort of zigzag line, which just looks dreadful. So that's why I think Bondaweb was a bit safer. So all I've done here is I've lined up the B line over here. I'm going to just slide that a little bit up. So you can see there's my B line there. You can see the B. And all I'm doing now is I've lined the fabric up on this line, and I lined the fabric up on this line. I'm taking a slightly smaller blade on this, and try and only cut one of these at a time. And I'm slotting this into the 3-inch marking. It obviously won't be 3 inches because it's a little bit up on the thing, so we can measure it once we've finished. So all you're doing is you're popping your rotary cutter into that slot and just rotating it round. Now this takes a little bit of practice. The only reason being is that when you get to this bit here, I find that it's a case of trial and error. And you'll see what I mean when you use it, because it's a curve and your rotary cutter is a straight blade, you get a little bit of a curve here, which becomes a bit more difficult to use with your rotary cutter. That said, the smaller the blade, the easier this will be for you. So all I've done now, as you can see, I've just cut that off. And we've now got a lovely little quarter oval. So what we're going to do now is we're going to flop this round, because I hate wasting fabric, even this tiny little piece of fabric here. So you can see now, if I line that up against the B line, I'm not going to get anything within a curve. So what they've very cleverly done is they've done these grid lines all the way along the ruler. So you can see now I can move it down to the C line, and I'm still a little bit short. So then I'm going for the white line just above the C line, and I'm a little hair short there as well. So I'm just going to go up another one. And these little lines are printed on the ruler as well. So you can see now I've got 2 ways that I can cut this, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. So again, just slot your rotary cutter into the number 3 line, and you go all the way around, And then what I'm also going to do is I'm going to do the 3.5 line and go all the way around as well. And the reason this pattern came into existence is because I like being very thrifty with my fabric. And I thought, oh, what happens if I cut those out? So now this is when you can get really, really abstract with your cutting and with your design. And if you're now using different colors, this will come in and you can do different colors. So you could have that as part of your circle, as part of your design. You can then do this in a different color. So I'm just going to press these a little bit. Get my lovely little ironing board out. Just pressing these out because you can see as I put these on, there are little crinkles in it. That's what happens when you don't press everything when you get straight into the studio in the morning. And I love a bit of steam to get rid of those little creases. Now don't tell Andrew I know how to iron because you know where that'll lead. I'm just pressing all of them at the same time, just that way we can do a nice little play with the way this works. So again, I have not put the Bonder web onto these, but obviously if you wanted to do the Bonder web on that, you would be able to do that before you started cutting. And all you would do is cut your Bonder web, same size as the piece of fabric, and the sizes of the ovals are in the pattern for the design that I've made. You'd iron that onto the back, and then when you cut it, you could then very easily do this. So if you're feeling brave and you wanted to do, let's say, 2 of these at the same time, just make sure you add a little bit more pressure on your rotary cutter and you will be able to then get through both of those pieces. So just like this one, the first one I cut, I'm lining this up with my B point. I'm lining this up with my B point there, and you can see as I do that on both ways, that's in the perfect position to do that. So now that I've got that there, you pop your rotary cutter in the side, apply a bit more pressure because you've got 2 pieces, and as you get round the curve, you've got everything cut nicely there. Now this is the Brights colorway. So as you can tell, I didn't press quite hard enough on the bottom here, so you can either just freehanded cut that out, or you can then just go and pop the ruler straight back on and cut it that way. So what I've done with these is I've done 6 really big ovals using the ruler. I did 3 7.5s and 3 6s, and what I tried to do is to have, so the 7.5 line and the 6 line, and what I did there is I tried to have I think I had 1 light one being really big and 2 dark ones, and then I did 2 light ones of the 6 ones and 1 light one. So there's 6. It's your choice entirely which way around you use the fabric, but I just thought it'd be quite nice to do different sizes on it. Now if you are cutting these at different times, you can just pop your cut that you've the sample that you've already cut, pop that onto the line, and you can then get the measurements as to what size you've used. Because most of us forget, you're cutting and then you're thinking, gosh, what did I do there? So all you're going to do then is you're going to go straight through there. And if you remember, we also did this little slither over here. And you see, I don't like wasting anything. Even when you get this much fabric in a bundle, I'm not wasting a drop of it. And the great thing there is you've now got just that little bit of waste. And I'm sure there's somebody out there who would have all use for that. You go right ahead and do it that way. And now what you do is then you've got all these different pieces, so that's when you can start getting creative. So I have to say, without the ruler, I do think you would struggle to do these different shapes in the way that you do them, because I just don't think, well, I don't know, I've never been able to cut a curve like that. But you can see just doing it this way, and the good thing is this fabric is non-directional because it's a solid. So let's say you wanted to do that. It's a totally different design, something totally unique, and all you've done is just cut a couple of circles out of some fabric, a couple of ovals. And then what you could do is, if you were going to do something a little bit more modern, you could put these all over the place and just have quarter ovals all over, and then maybe have an echo there. So the great thing is this is just to give you an idea of the scope of this oval always ruler, that you are not limited in any way on what you can do with it. So I've cut out big chunks from this, and let me show you how I did that. So this one, shall we switch to the cool colours? So I'm going to use 2 of them. Shall we use the light blue and the dark blue? Blue is the colour of the year, isn't it? Now I do cut these individually because you're cutting through 4 layers when you're going through, and I'm not very confident with my rotary cutter going through those angles, and you must just do the way you want to do it. So all I've done is I've just taken the whole piece of fabric, I've folded it in half there, and then I've folded it in half again. Now when I fold it in half the second time, you'll notice my selvage is on here. So once I've got this all nice and quartered, for the want of a better expression, I'm going to take my lovely Creative Grids 6.5 by 24 inch ruler, and I'm going to put that on top of all of 4 layers, line it up as close as you can to it, and I'm going to slice that off so you've got a nice neat edge on the end. These are all on the website, so do pop onto the website if there's anything here you've seen that you like. So now I've got the folded edge here, and I've got the folded edge here, and I'm going to put both folded edges, bottom folded edge towards my tummy and then to my left hand side. And now, when I said earlier we line up the bigger pieces with the A lines, you'll be able to see the A line radius is here and the A-line radius is here. And you just take a little bit of time to maneuver that into place. My word, I've just heard from Hannah, there are less than 20 of the cool bundles left. So if you are interested in getting it, if you haven't checked out, it's not yours just yet. So I'm going to do this one at 7.5, which is in the pattern at 7.5 as well. And I'm just popping my rotary cutter into the slot that says 7.5, applying the pressure all the way through, and I've just felt there that it didn't go through in the middle. Sorry about that. So I've just then, the great thing with this is, because the line to cut is in the same place all the way along, if you do have to cut twice, you're not going to shred the fabric in any way. And I didn't go all the way through then, I thought I hadn't. So I've now hidden my lovely shears. Yesterday I was on with the lovely Angela, and she was telling me that she uses these enormous shears for absolutely everything. And I was so shocked, because I thought, gosh, I can't use such a big pair of scissors for everything. But she kind of gave me a bit more confidence on that. So again, everybody's going to have this problem, so I'm glad this has happened. So I'll show you now. You've only cut through 2 of your layers. So all you do now is you put this back on, you line up your radius line onto A and onto A, and you can see exactly where you are. Make sure that you've just got those all in line. Put your hand back on the stripology ruler, and you just apply the pressure all the way through. And I'm going to do it just one more time, just in case. And I think that's worked this time. And it hasn't. I'm not working very well with this. But again, you're going to have this yourself. It's just trial and error, and it's practice. And because it's on curves, you're going to get a little bit nervous on it. And it's live telly. What could possibly go wrong? At least I'm hoping not to kill the sewing machine today. It's very different on the telly than it is in your workroom, I'm sure. There we go. So we'll just pretend that worked perfectly the first time. And you can see you've got this lovely little oval that's all worked out. And here's one I prepared earlier in another colour. So that's what we're kind of aiming for on that. And then what we can do with what's left over, you know I don't like to waste it. But with the ruler really helps you to do this, because also you're using your scraps, but you're using them in a way you potentially wouldn't have used them before. Because if you wanted to try this as a method, you could at least use the ruler with your scraps and figure out the best way that it works for you. So all I'm doing here is I'm just now making a decision. So I can see I've got 2 there, 2 there, and 2 there. Right, so I'm going to make this a nice big one. So this is going to be a 4. And again, I'm going through 4 layers of fabric. So fingers crossed this has worked. And it hasn't. I'm going to use my larger rotary cutter. The great thing about working for your Sewing Street is you've got all the tools ready to hand whenever you want them. Oh, that's working a lot better. And again, just take your time on it. There's no rush. And you can go forward and backwards because it's quite safe to do that. And then let's get that out now and check that's worked, and it has. So we've now got 4 quarter ovals there, and that's fun because when you're doing your different playing around and trying to be all modern with all the different things, you can then now play, and what you're going to do with the second one and the third one, so I'm going to cut this one. Oh, I haven't lined this up properly. See? Preparation is everything. Make sure you get this right. And you've got the non-slip grip on it as well, which is great. And what I did is I didn't do my first step, which I told you to do in the beginning. Make sure you line up your A-line there and your A-line here and plop that back in. Yes, that's right. I thought something wasn't working. Hold that down there. And don't forget anything that's in your basket, because this is being so popular, we don't want you to lose out. So if you haven't checked out, it's not yours yet. Because sometimes we've got people who call into the call centre who say, oh, I desperately want one. And then if it's in the basket, they may take it out of your basket to settle that person's order. So if you haven't checked out, make sure that you do if you are very keen on this. Woo! Woo! Oh, that's exactly what I needed. Whew, nothing like a little bit of pressure to get you going in the morning. So the great thing with this is now, so that is exactly how I did this. So I'm going to do the light blue line as well, so you can see what I did. So again, that is there. I'm taking my ruler here and I'm just trimming off the edges, making everything nice and square. And we're working on the cool bundle now, so you'll see that'll be on your screen. Very popular at the minute, which is wonderful. But it is such great value, you know, 7 meters of fabric for £50, and you get the instructions. My very own instructions. And the great thing is if you have any questions, drop them onto the Sewing Street Facebook page, and I can answer them now while I'm here. Because I have to say, this quilt, it was definitely something out of my comfort zone. It's not something I've done before, because I just looked at it and thought, curves, no, not doing it. I refuse, not having it. Oh, we have a message from Tracy. Hello, Tracy. Morning, Tracy. She's saying, good morning. How are you today? Oh, she's very kind. She's saying, my designs are amazing. And all the info I share with you is wonderful. You are very kind, Tracy. Thank you so much. And thank you for supporting us. It's wonderful. And if anybody does have any messages that they want to come through, we're all here. We're monitoring everything as we go along. Oh, I think I've done that. I'm going to hold our breath quickly. So that was a 6. And now I'm going to show you a little trick here, because I'm going to do the 7.5 as well, because this is something that I did as a trial, and I ran out of space because of all the things that I was trying to do on one quilt. Ah! Woohoo! We all do that. We all get excited. But the great thing is you've now got an oval with no center. So if you lay this out, you could then have this as an empty oval. And what I'll do is I'll show you once we've done that. So we've cut out a 6-inch circle, oval now of the light blue. And like I did with the bright blue, I'm turned this round. I'm lining it up again with the A-line and the A-line. And I think I used a 4. We're down to 4 there, and I'm just going to cut the 4 line because then that lines up with the bits that I've already cut. And so that was 4, and I've got 2 left, so like the others, I'm going to do the 5 and the 6. I've just heard from Hannah we're down to 14 of these kits left of the Cool Bundle. So if you are looking to get it, don't hang about, because if you haven't checked out, it's not yours just yet. You can give yourself a good challenge, and the great thing is you've got enough fabric, you've got enough to make 2 of these quilts with the colours, but not for the background. So if you don't like this and you want to put more in, you can. So now what we've done, and we're just going to do this with the 2 colourway, is we've now got our big oval. So we pop the big oval down, and then we're just going to pretend that this is light green, for example. You line that up in the middle, and you line that up in the middle. But that's not good enough. You want to make sure that you get your nice complete oval. You can do that there. Nope, that's the wrong piece. That's the piece I'm looking for. But this is a great way to improv, because so this is what I've done with the pattern, and you can see that if you did this as a light green, it would pop a bit differently. But now, this is where your creativity can come in. So you've made this, but you think, you know what? I'm actually going to just pop that in there. And then I'm going to pop this in there. And actually, I don't like that. So I'm going to leave the blue on, but I'm going to pop that over there. Because the reason I'm doing this is to show you that this is such great value. You can combine the bundles. You're not limited to doing just the one. You can go and you can get each and every single one. You can get both of them. And I know I would be buying both of them at that price. Because for £100 for 14 meters of fabric, you cannot go wrong with that. Now we're going to pretend we're going to pretend the Bonder web's not on the back of that. And you can see how that completely changes the whole way you're doing the quilt. And it's totally different, and this is where you can now play around with it. You can do the designs as I've done them, but then you can change your mind and you can do this. So it's just a really lovely way of being able to explore and play and have some fun. And this ruler truly, truly has made me a lot more confident on doing curves of any kind. Even if they are on Bonder web, the oval's always ruler. That's my top thing of the day. And it's a nice way of gently easing you into curves, because we all get scared of them. We all have worries about curves. And the good thing with this is it's not a full circle, because those are just completely terrifying. But an oval, you've got a lot more of a straightish line on it, and then when you zigzag around it, it's so much easier. And you've got the built-in grips with it, and you can feel here, I don't know what they do with them, but it's a raised area here, so it's non-slippy on these sections in between them. And the Strapology's got this really wonderful, clever mechanism that it just is so easy to use. Anybody who's used Strapology before knows that, and we can go from there. So with these, once you've cut them out and you've got them ready to go, you just then zigzag along the way and you're all sorted. And then the other part of the pattern that I have done is where you don't have a background and you've just got 2 of the wrong sized pieces. Where are the right size pieces? No, that is the right size pieces. And then all you do is you're popping a dark and a light together, and you've got the outside of your egg. So the 2 main blocks that you're making for my pattern are this one, using the various different colours, and this one, which is sort of the negative effect of it, if you like. I'm not quite sure how you would word that. And then you're attaching these onto the beautiful background fabric. Here's one I prepared earlier. So you're getting 4 meters of the background fabric, so you've got more than enough there to make this quilt. It's 65 by 76, and the only reason it's 76 is I took a bit off the bottom of it, because it is a big quilt. But if you wanted to make it the full size of double, because all I did is I took 65 inches of the background fabric, took 2 pieces and then sewed them together, and it was then 84 inches, I think, by 65. So if you want to do it that way, just add more of your circles and ovals onto it. So just over here, you'll be able to see these are all the colours that are included in your cool bundle. So you've got the purple, you've got an emerald, you've got a lovely lavender, you've got this beautiful soft blue, you've got this beautiful bright blue, and you've got this lovely minty colour. So that's on the cool colours. But then, of course, I've kind of completely neglected the bright colours because I prefer the brights, but I love the cool as well. And these are just a gorgeous orange, a lovely deep red, a lovely light pink, a sort of eggy yellow, really bright yellow there, a magenta, and then a nice sort of subtle butter yellow as well. And again, at that price, I think, well, I know I'd be buying both of them. It's just because I just think you're going to continually play with all these different products and go through them. How much time have we got left, Hannah? Oh, good, we've got 22. So what I'm going to show you now is something that I actually saw in the instructions of this the always oval ruler, and what they're doing is they're telling us to do 45-degree half square triangles. Who doesn't love a half square triangle? So what I'm going to do, where is it? Do I have another piece here? Oops, I must have cut it up already. So bear with me. What other colour should we do? Should we do this lovely magenta again? Amazing shears, these. They're also on the website, so make sure you check those out. So all I've done there is I've hacked off a little piece of fabric. We all do it. And I'm trying to keep all my messy bits out of screen because I don't want everybody seeing all the messy bits. And I've then got my rotary cutter and my lovely ruler. And all I'm doing here is, because we're having a little bit of a play, I'm cutting a 4.5-inch square. 4.5. Oh, there we go. So I've got my nice raw, clean edges on those. So I'm doing 4.5, so that's half there's 4.5 there. Right, so we've got 4.5-inch squares. That one might be a little bit small, we'll trim it off afterwards. And all I'm going to do here is I'm going to put myself a little stitch line down there. Actually, I'm going to switch these round because I think if we did a bright with a light, perfect. So this is our amazing 720 machine, which I happened to kill yesterday because I pressed the thread cutter then up and down and made a funny boo-boo. So all I'm doing now I'm just making 2 little half square triangles. They're not going to be accurate. They're just to give an example for just to show you different things that you can do with the ruler. And we're using the Brights bundle now, which I don't think I've spent very much time on, but I do love it. These colours are just so bright and vibrant. They're wonderful. This is the most wonderful machine. Debbie did a wonderful tutorial on the 720 Excellence. So exclusive to Sewing Street at the moment, so do check that out. It's on our YouTube channel, which is on Sewing Street on YouTube. So you can have a little check on that, because it's a really great deal on that. So all I'm doing now, I'm sure we've all made half square triangles before. If not, drop me a line and I'll send you some links. And all I've done is cut that in half. And so I am going to trim these down just very quickly to make sure I've got the right sizes, but I'm going to get my trusty iron and ironing board ready first. I always set my seams first. And today I'm going to go against Angie and I'm going to press to the dark side. I can hear Joe in my ear going, dark side. It's lovely. I wouldn't normally have this much steam on it, but that's probably good that it's out there because it's going to set my fabric a bit flatter than it was before as well. Last one. Oh. Brilliant. And then all I'm doing now, I have to say this ironing board is really lovely. And it's easy to get in and out the way when it's not very heavy or bulky. So what we do first is we find out which one is the smallest. And that's definitely going to be, oh, it's a tie between these two. Right, so I'm going to use that one. Has anybody ever squared half square triangles up before? So what I'm going to do, especially with this lovely ruler, is I'm going to measure this up first. So this is a 3.5 inch. We're going to make it a 3.5 inch. So what I've done is I've lined the 45-degree line up with the seam that you've actually got for your half square triangle. And I'm standing in completely the wrong place for it, so I'm going to move everything out of the way. Line my 45-degree up. And I'm going to make this a 3.5 inch half square triangle. So and I'm sorry, this will be quite dull for you. This will be quite dull for you. If anybody has ever, hang on, 1.5, just checking I'm on the right line. Is that right? But the great thing with this, if you don't get this right, it's all in the preparation. Hannah's just made a very good point. If you don't fill the holes in the wall before you paint it, it's not going to look very good. Quite right. So now what we're doing is we're just making 4 3.5 inch squares. And you can make these a bit bigger. I just wanted to make sure I got them accurate. I wouldn't suggest putting more than one of these on at a time. So again, you've lined your 45-degree up with the seam line. It's a really, really lovely ruler, this. Very easy to use. You've got the lovely grips on it as well, so you don't have to have quite so much pressure down on it. And the great thing is, because it's got black lines and white lines, it's really easy to see where you're supposed to be cutting and how you're measuring. Oh, we've had a message in from Sue. Morning, Sue. Oh, she's loving my bold and contemporary designs. Thank you. Oh, with an emoji face covered in hearts. That's what we like. Thank you, my darling. And I have to say, I'm not usually so contemporary, but with such a lovely ruler and such gorgeous fabrics and bold colours, I thought, you know what, if I'm ever going to do it, now is the time. Right, last one. So 3.5. So we've lined that up on the 3.5 there, 3.5 there, centre line on the 45-degree. So, if you were ever going to do a pinwheel, this is how you would do it. So we're going to put the yellows to the outside, and we're going to put the yellows to the in. Well, there we go. So we're going to have. So if you were making a pinwheel, that's what it would look like, right? Everybody happy with that? Now, what they're telling me to do is, now I've got to get this right. So I'm cutting that one as long as I get so as long as you get the point in the same place all the way, I think this is going to work. I'm hoping I'm not going to mess this up. It'll be fine. That's why we test it first. Let me test it. And there we go. Right, so I've cut that one out. So that's going to the, oh. And that's what I love about this ruler. You've got so many different options. Right, so we can see that one's going that way. But we're going to hang on to these because I'm going to show you a trick on that, which they haven't put on the ruler thing. So that one I'm going to put upside down and do the other way. And check the size I did. I think I had it there. I've just heard we're down to our last 20 of these oval rulers. So we will definitely be able to reorder it. But if you want it today, only 20 left. If you haven't checked out, it will not be yours. And remember, there's only 1 day P&P, so you don't have to worry about paying the postage twice. You can order this now and make sure that you get it. And then even if you order later in the day with either on the website or with our call center, you can see it's coming together. And you can kind of see what I'm doing on that side as well. So that way it's going to be there as well. I'm just now going to put that on here. Perfect. So it's that line and the C line. Oh, just double check I've got this the right size. Nope, I don't. That's why we check. What have I done? Oh, I've got it on the wrong line, that's why. That's why I think it's a really good tip, just to make sure that you take your pieces, double measure it, check twice, cut once. And then that one's going to go in that corner. And that one's going to go there. And this one again is going to go upside down. And I'm putting that corner bit, I'm worried I'm off your overhead there. Sorry if I am, Joe. And then because this one's upside down as well. Oh, I'm getting better at keeping this in mind. And so we're here for 2 hours today, so don't think that we're getting away from me that easily. So you can see, yes, you've got a pinwheel, but look how different that looks. And these are so easy to sew together then, because I think for Easter coming up and everybody wanting to have something fun and different, you could make mug rugs with these, just something really cute and different. And it's something that you may not have done before. It's totally new, potentially totally new to you like it was for me. And it's just such a lovely, fun way to use your fabrics up, or just use these and make, oh gosh, there we go. I'm going too fast. And now I'm going to test this thread cutter now. Ah, there we go, I got it. That could have ended very badly. It's a really cute little machine. If anybody wants to watch the demo with Debbie, don't forget to catch it on YouTube. This happened yesterday as well. So bear with me while I clear the... I think I'm messing around. Oh, there we go. Is that in the right place? Yes, I think that is. Just very occasionally with the thread cutters, they suck a little piece of, oh, there we go. They suck a bit of thread in and then the thread gets all confused. But I think I have just fixed it. Come on. Live telly, what could possibly go wrong? I think I'm destined to not use that. So all we're doing then is, and once you've done that, you'd press your seams open or press your seams to one side. I prefer to press open in this section. And you pop that there. And then you would do, imagine this is all sewn together and you'd have this lovely thing, this lovely egg-shaped thing ready to applique on, or just put some wadding on and back it, Or you can pop these on and then you just sew these together as well, and you've got an empty little spot. You can embroider somebody's initials in the middle there and everything. Just in the middle there you can put a little embroidery, or you can do some beautiful beadwork. And you can just see these are just one of the little options on these pattern suggestions here on this. There are so many different designs, so many different ideas on this ruler. I think, did you say we're down to 20 of these? So we're down to 20 of these. If you are interested on it, don't hang about. I'm sure we're going to sell out by the end of the day on it. And it's just, I definitely feel a lot more confident doing curves now. Even if it's not a proper circle, I'm on my way. And if you join us on Wednesday, you're going to see circles coming out of your nose. They're amazing. So this is the Ovals Always ruler. And we're just going to now do a little bit of a recap as to what we've got on the show today. So we're going to start with the bundles. Shall we start with the hot? Or what I call the hot colours. So this one is, you get 4 meters of backing. So what I did with this first is I took the whole piece, I cut off 8 strips for my binding, made sure I had the binding, because when you're doing white, I like to have a white binding on it. You don't have to, you can do it in any colour you like. So, and then I had 2 pieces, 65 inches, sewn those together, and then I cut 10 inches off the bottom to make my quilt, which is 65 by 76. But you can leave them on, and you've got more than enough fabric to have a play. So that's your background fabric. And then you've got 6 different colours, all 1/2 meters. And we've got this lovely orange over here, a beautiful red raspberry colour, light pink, a really bright yellow, which is just really sweet, a lovely magenta, and a nice butter yellow, which is just really cute. And I think we've called that our Brights kit. Yes, the Brights quilt kit. So that's 7 meters of fabric there, on top of having the instructions. And the instructions are just the different ways that you can use Bondaweb, how I've used the ruler to be able to see how to do it, and then the different positioning layouts. And then the quilt that I've made with this, of course, never a small quilt with me. And I've still got loads of fabric left over on this one, and I'm going to put this out and see if I can do it. I've got it the wrong way round. Of course I do. Of course I do. So, oh, this is huge. So you can see it is very contemporary. It's very different, very modern. It's certainly different to anything I've ever made before. And it's still going. It's a really big quilt, but a lovely way of being able to try something totally different and do something really bright and fun. And it's summer coming up, and it's just, we're all wanting a little bit of brightness and colour in our lives at the moment. I think that's just, well, I'm very proud of that one. And it hasn't fallen over. But the great thing with that as well is you get huge amounts of fabric left over. I've already cut chunks of this out for my demo today, but you can see this is, I've got almost a fat quarter of every fabric left over, and these are, you can see proof of them. You could either do a double-sided quilt even, or if you didn't like the empty spaces, you could then go and play and you could do little bits like that in there. You can completely do it how you like. For me, I liked it a bit cleaner, so when I made my quilt out of the lighter colours, the cool colours, I wanted to focus a bit more on the quilting. So you can see here, oh, that shows beautifully the quilting on it. So these are the cool colours. And what I had is, because you've got such amazing circles and curves, I wanted the quilting to be a bit more angular, a bit more rigid in the way that it was. So it's entirely up to you and how you prefer to do it. It's just, because for me, whenever I start a quilt, I need to figure out how I'm going to quilt it before I finish it. So just to show you the bottom of it, because it is a very big quilt. And I can't wait for Sylvia to come home so she can bind it. We're going to pretend it's bound. And the great thing with this is, with the amount of fabric that you've got, you have the binding as well. So the binding and the front is what you've got for this, which is quite unusual for kits. Normally you only get enough for the front. Here you've got enough for that and the binding. And we still had a strip left over. Can't find it now. Where I put it? It's here somewhere. So you've got another piece left over for the left over from the binding as well. So there's more than enough fabric. And we'll just go through the different colours on this one as well. This has been the most popular of all the bundles. We're in the low teens on this one now. We've got this lovely mint. You've got this lovely a bright blue, a light blue, this beautiful lilac, emerald, and then this lovely, lovely purple colour here. And the thing is as well with these colours, even if you just bought the fabric on their own, it's such good value because you may not want to make a quilt like this. You get this for free, so you can always give that away to somebody. We all go to these sewing groups where we have to bring a little gift for X number of pounds. Pop that in, there's your gift. And you just got this amazing collection of fabric, 7 meters of fabric. And yeah, I'm very pleased with it. Lots of fabric, can't go wrong with that. So just after 10 o'clock, we'll be back and we've got more tools to show you. Really, really fun products there, which we haven't seen before.